I was thinking earlier. Does anybody remember, before we get into the major topics, of course, does anybody remember the presidential election of 2016? 2016 was a crazy motherfucking year, wasn't it? We didn't uncover Drake getting Toronto shut up in 2016, allegedly. We uncovered a lot of shit in 2016. Cassie. A lot of shit happened in 2016, didn't it? But what people don't remember, I think, because I was talking to some people about it today. People don't remember the 2016 presidential election. What I mean by that? Do y'all remember a certain candidate ran that year?
He's running for president: Bush, Trump, Clinton.
Okay, you've heard of those names, but a lesser-known independent's name is taking the internet by storm, and that name would be, dun-dun-dun-dun, Deez Nutz. Yep, you heard me right. He is gaining traction in North Carolina with 9% of voters saying they'd vote for him.
Wow.
In a hypothetical race between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, he would get 9%. Well, this candidate, that's not his real name. He's actually a 15-year-old from Iowa, but he has filed with the Federal Election Commission.
Dog. Do y'all remember Deez Nutz running for president? Deez Nutz. And his name was Brady Olson, by the way. Nigga named Brady Olson from Ohio. But that was about the funniest shit that I had ever heard in my entire life.
A 15-year-old farm boy has entered the presidential race, and according to public policy polling, he has 9% of the vote in North Carolina. What's his name? It's Deez Nutz. All right. So that's really it. That's the story. It's just fun.
No, so first of all, I love the kid. He's 15. He can't run for president. His real name is obviously not Deez Nutz. But he's got the American spirit, right?
Yeah.
And he's entrepreneurial. He's having fun. He's making things life interesting for everybody else. And I like that I hope that at least 9% of the Republican voters in North Carolina had enough humor to write in, yeah, these nuts, right? I hope to God that none of that 9% actually thought that it was Mr. Nutz and that they were on his side, right? With the Republicans, you're never quite sure.
Right. But you know what's funny? In this phase of the election cycle, the only thing that really matters is name recognition, because a lot of voters are not in our world where they're like absorbing all of this political news. A lot of them are about, going about their daily lives, doing their thing, and it's all based on name recognition. Which name have you heard over and over again in the media? It's Donald Trump, which is why they keep saying, yeah, I guess I'll vote for Donald Trump, whatever. With Deez Nutz, who knows? If you talk about him enough, he might actually beat Donald Trump in the polls.
He might rise in the polls.
Yes.
Or he might help a poll rise. Okay. Now, by the way, speaking of rising the polls, Trump used to be at 16% in North Carolina. He's surging, and he's gone all the way up to 24%. He is winning among moderates, somewhat conservative voters, very conservative voters, men, women, middle-aged voters, younger voters, and seniors. He's leading in every one of those categories among Republicans. You want to talk about Deez Nutz? And if you're unclear whether Deez Nutz is a joke, his running mate is Anya Chin.
Oh my God, I didn't get it until you just said it right now. I'm like, he could have come up with something clever, what the hell? But it is clever.
It's just like a random name, Anya Chin. What's the big deal?
I actually really like the name Anya.
Well, just be careful what it goes with.
Dog, you can't even say his name with a straight face, and then his partner, his vice president, was gonna be on your chin. I'm just saying, y'all. If that wasn't telling y'all enough, like he was running with Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, but that wasn't the only telling person of that presidential election that had me laughing. He wasn't the only one running for president that year.
I'm very pleased to announce today I will be running for president. How you doing? Nice to meet you. Since my announcement, the world have took it on great. How you doing, sir? How you feel about your country? Waka for president. Yesterday was not a joke. I will be running for president. I'm super serious. As you can see, the people are really behind me. They're really standing behind me. Waka for president. Shit's gonna be okay. Yo, how you doing, man?
Yo, what's good?
How you feel about your country, bro?
Hey, man, I'm proud of this country, man.
Yeah.
Are you aware that Waka Flocka announced his candidacy for president yesterday?
No way, really?
That's awesome.
I know who you are.
I'm the president.
I watch Love and Hip Hop all the time.
What you see right here is a petition. I need 5,000 people to get on the ballot. 5,000 signatures in a day. I probably could do that. I know I could do that. Waka for president, 2016. Squad. I need y'all to sign your name here, address, signature.
I gotta sign this, president.
I need your information. I got you. Let me hold that burger, brother. I ain't gonna eat it. I ain't gonna eat that burger, not yet.
Yo, Flocka.
I got you. Take it.
So, understand this, right? I would like for all y'all to understand the fact that if Waka Flocka and Deez Nutz was running for president, along with, I think it was like 1,200 other candidates, but them was the main four that made it. Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, Waka Flocka, and Deez Nutz were the main four people that were running for president of the United States of America. What in the fuck are we talking about here? First of all, I want y'all to understand this. When I saw that, I said to myself, you know what? And some of y'all might disagree with me on this. I'll say, you know what? I'm glad I stopped voting. I'm glad. Because at that point, it wasn't about voting for the lesser evil. It wasn't about voting for the lesser evil. It was the fact that it was a huge slap in America's face that Deez Nutz and Waka Flocka were running for president. And in the following election, we got Kanye saying, you know what, them niggas could do it, I could do it too. So, needless to say, number two, I knew already that we was just going to get a substitute teacher until Trump got back. Sorry to say. Because, as I said in the last pod, I don't know if y'all noticed, this is the last president we getting. This is Trump the last nigga we getting. And everybody already, and somebody already done whistleblow the shit that it's gonna be a dictatorship. So do with that information as you, if you will. You know what I mean? It's a wrap. It is a wrap. That was they took the powder and got it ready, and pop to America. When I saw Deez Nutz as one of the top candidates running for, you know what? It wasn't the biggest slap. That wasn't the biggest slap. The biggest slap was this shit. Hold on. That wasn't the biggest slap in my face. This was the biggest slap. You know who Deez Nutz was endorsing? Deez Nutz was endorsing Bernie Sanders and John Kasich in the U.S. presidential bid. Nothing to do with him running for president. Just him and just endorsing them. Saying, I know you niggas ain't gonna win, but I'm gonna endorse you. Bernie Sanders and John Kasich, the Democratic and Republican candidates, have received a key endorsement from Deez Nutz, a 15-year-old boy who grabbed headlines in the run-up to the United States. To the run-up to the U.S. presidential polls and gave stiff fight to frontrunners Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Deez Nutz, whose real name is Brady Olson of Iowa, filed with the Federal Election Commission in July to run for president of the United States. Announced on Facebook that he supports Sanders and Kasich for the Democratic and Republican nominations, respectively. The fact that people took him fucking seriously is the fucking is the part that I don't get. Just gonna throw this out there now. Deez Nutz throwing anything out there. This is not for the general election. My endorsement for the Democratic nomination goes to Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. Read a post on the Facebook page, Deez Nutz for President 2016. This is not for the general election. I endorse myself for the general election for the Republican nomination. My endorsement goes to Ohio Governor John Kasich. And another post says, in an interview with Rolling Stone, Olson wrote that he did not want to see Clinton, Bush, or Trump in the White House, so I guess I'm just trying to put up a fight. Not surprisingly, Olson, who registered as an independent presidential candidate, remains his own choice for the general election, even if he is well short of the minimum age requirement of 35 to become president. According to a public policy polling survey last week, Nutz had won 9% of the vote as an independent in North Carolina, on top of recent results of 8% in Minnesota and 7% in Iowa from previous polls. The results made Nutz the most successful independent candidate for president in 2 decades. Google search interest in Deez Nutz has surpassed interest in the term Hillary Clinton. Google reported on Friday, and he has held his own against both Clinton and Trump on the search engine as well. Meanwhile, Nutz has been organizing across the nation, creating Facebook pages for each state. If that ain't nuts, I don't know what the fuck is. Because that right there should have told y'all, this shit is over. This shit is over. It's over. It is over. Because, bruh, to tell y'all to listen, the fact that Bernie Sanders had to get endorsed by Deez Nutz and can't even get fair votes, a fair vote percentage, I should say, in the election, it's tell you a lot, man. I'm just saying. You want to look up the times that Bernie Sanders ran for president and how many times he got sabotaged. That'll tell you a lot. Just saying. You ain't go through the bones and skulls. I say it like that. Chances are, or Harvard, chances are you ain't getting there. Point blank, period. You don't go through the process in the system, you ain't getting picked. You ain't up at Bohemian Grove, you ain't getting picked. Point blank, period. But I just want to share that with y'all in case y'all forgot that, like I said, this shit's over.